It was in this very moment that Mark realized the code had been cracked. This deck might be busted. Alright guys, so we're back with another gameplay video. And this one is similar to my blue-black Improvise that I posted a deck tech and gameplay on. But this is the hyper full tilt, I'm all in version. Mostly just for fun. I don't really see this as a competitive deck because it is, like I said, full tilt. I mean, it's not going to be consistent, but if you get the right draws, they are going to get their face smashed in many different ways. So, I'm not quite ready to reveal the deck list unless you guys just really want it, but the reason is because I'm still perfecting this and I want to come up with a little bit more of a consistent version of this type of the deck before I release it. But, you know, obviously you can watch this video and try to build it yourself, but I'll warn you there's something that really sets it apart from the other standard decks, and it's pretty strange. So, that being said, enjoy the footage, and I'll probably provide a little bit of commentary. So as you can see, you tend to go pretty wide as far as permanents go pretty early. If anyone knows how to get the token images on X-Mage, that would be cool. So this part's funny. I improvise out the Herald using the Ethereum cell, and then he tries to metallic rebuke it. I mean, yeah, I would have got to play Gear Seeker also, but I was just like, alright, there's your 3 mana, buddy. Probably not a bad idea on his part, anyway. So I'm already on my second row of permanents. He's also playing an improvised deck, but it's like blue-black control, you know. And I will admit, this guy doesn't seem like the best player, in my opinion. He does some questionable things. Look at all those cards. So he scoops right away. Sideboard, I'm just laughing at that point. I'm just like, we won't even sideboard against this guy. Probably not a good idea to do that, but alright, so moving on to game 2. Alright, get out our evolving wilds. Now he knows better, so he's afraid of our servo schematic. I like the flavor of servo schematic because it's like an investment. You know, you get it out, you get 2 artifacts, and then you invest into your future because you can sack it and get another artifact later. But also it's sort of like, you know, it's a plan. It's a plan for your future. It's a schematic. It just makes sense. So one tip for playing the deck, since the 0 cost things almost act like a land, you need to be sure you get your counts right. Just make sure you're not missing a drop. Like, I could play either of those cards right now. Bastion Inventor or Reverse Really liking the metal spinners puzzle knot in this deck because it just keeps things moving. And it's supposed to be such a fast deck that taking damage early on shouldn't matter because you're supposed to have a huge board state with a bunch of 4/4s, 5/6s, and 5/5 flyers. So this version does run 4 Tezzerettes also. So right there, we could have played Reverse Engineer or Gear Seeker Serpent, but having 2 Tezzerettes in hand, I just figured he would probably try to counter it, but he didn't. Also, I figured if he didn't counter it, it would be smarter to get out the utility that Tezzeret provides. He can kill that pacification array that's animated, or he can just help me get more artifacts out. I like doing sneaky stuff with the Ethereum cells. Like, say you're tapped out on mana and you have a fatal push in hand. They just don't really see it coming a lot of the time if you just sack your Ethereum cell to pay for it. Or let's say you're tapped out on mana and you have 3 artifacts. One of them is an Ethereum cell. You can Metallic Rebuke, sack the Ethereum cell for a blue and then improvise the other 2 artifacts. It reminds me of playing like a Force of Will in Legacy, so it's a pretty awesome feeling to be able to counter something with no mana in Standard. He's tapped out pretty much, so good time to play a Herald. Really not worried about his pacification array because, as you can see, I'm going to flood the battlefield with big creatures. In the 5 or so games I've played with this deck now, I've never activated the Gear Seeker's ability, but hey, at least it's somewhere to put your mana if you have extra mana. So my plans for this deck is to keep it a full tilt, like all in game 1, but to have a really flexible sideboard. I want it to be almost to where you can completely transform the strategy of the deck. So you win game 1 based off surprise, and then you win game 2 just off playing the meta right and just siding in things that really hose down their deck. So I'm trying to figure out this deck's weaknesses so I can, if I lose game 1, I can hopefully just completely morph the deck into something that wins the next 2 games. But as of now, this is really just a nut draw. Like, if you get lucky draws, this deck does not feel standard at all. But if you get screwed, it's kind of just sad. But this was like the first round I played with this game. No bullshit. Like, I built the deck, fired it up. Turn 4, I was like, all right, I should record this of the first game. And then here we are. I thought I recorded the second round because it was, I think, even more insane, but I guess I lost the footage. And I did play a few more games after that didn't go so well, so I started tweaking it, and that's why I don't want to release the deck list yet, because I just want to make it more consistent so we can have games like this, almost every time. Because this was just brutal for him. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that, and comment down below if you want me to post the deck list. Thank you.